What's my interpretation? I mean, I haven't even listened to the music, so
Taylor Swift.
This makes it all the more humorous for me because I haven't even listened to the music. I've heard more commentary on Taylor Swift's new album than I have heard Taylor Swift's actual new album. Let's see. Penguins will cover the Taylor Swift drama, and then we'll get into it as well.
I'm pretty sure this is the first video I've ever made with Taylor Swift as the focus for it, and that's because I just don't really have any strong feelings on her or her music. I don't know a whole lot about her, like, in her personal life or anything other than, like, all the breakups and stuff, but that's just not something I tune into super deeply. All I know is she's got some songs in her catalog I like to wiggle my finger to occasionally. Like, I don't dislike her music. I don't hate the songs that she's put out. There are a few boner jams in there. But the reason I'm talking about her today is because she has a new album that just came out, which I didn't even know was around the corner. But something is a bit awry. There's a disturbance out there because for the first time ever, I'm pretty sure, people are saying it's not good. Even her most loyal of fans are criticizing it. A feat I didn't even think was possible. It defies our very fundamental understanding of
Taylor Swift TikToks from yesterday, XXX. Oh my God, my internet, dude. Holy shit, it's so busted.
Taylor Swift is
her fans aren't saying it's not good because it's good. I have definitely heard from fans of Taylor Swift saying that the album is not very good. So much so that Cutie literally said it could be potentially because it's bad on purpose. So no, I don't think it's like that. So, Cutie coping.
I have a question. I have a genuine question. I put a lot of thought into this. 20-year Swiftie here reporting for duty with a question to the rest of you. Did I miss the memo where we were supposed to take this album seriously? Because what I remember is that it was announced on a podcast.
I just don't know enough about like Swiftie lore and Taylor Swift in general to actively to be able to. I haven't even listened to the album yet. I've just been consumed with a lot of the takes off of the album. I know that there is I mean, I'm not like I just don't care. Obviously, you guys know I'm not like the biggest music listener in general, but what I have seen is, you know, Cutie is coping and that's okay. Lol, Taylor says is serious and she doesn't mind that people have their opinions on it. I mean, first of all, it's not a life or death situation, right? It's a famous recording artist who came out with an album and maybe it wasn't as well received as previous ones, and that's okay. You know? Saw a TikTok saying, listen to the lyrics like it's an MF Doom song and it's good. Oh, I saw that one too. That's actually a banger TikTok. I was going to bring that up too. It's not the end of the world if this album didn't hit. You know what I mean? If this album didn't hit as well as previous albums did, it is what it is, right? Like it's not going to change the world. I will say, however, that there are a lot of people who I think were just like waiting for Taylor Swift's downfall too, because she's super popular. At least listen to this one. Canceled lyrical video. I don't know. I mean, she has like all the songs that I know of Taylor Swift and listen to from Taylor Swift are the songs that Cutie hates and says aren't good. Like, I know the popular songs and I like the popular songs that I hear. You know, that's my take on Taylor Swift. Like, I just don't understand it. Otherwise, I don't understand it beyond whatever the top 40 platinum hits that she puts out. But given that she is a very famous recording artist with a diehard fan base, I feel as though, you know, there are a lot of people who are heavily scrutinizing the lyrics. Some of her fans are turning on her. As a lifelong Taylor Swift hater, some of those lyrics were racist, especially against black women, and I will not be hearing otherwise. I don't know which lyrics they are that are like anti-black women. Can't believe how soft you are. What the f happened to this channel? I just don't care. Like, I don't care about the hate either. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, I think like people are shitting on her because they've been like waiting for a moment, and this album seems to be like the weakness that they've identified, because even her fans are like not as invested in the songs. But I did see one response from a girly pop that was definitely a Swiftie. Okay, definitely a Swiftie, because she kept using words like our or saying stuff like we when she was talking about Taylor Swift and her experiences. And that's how you know someone is definitely a Swiftie. And the apex point of this criticism that made me unironically laugh out loud was when she turned around, okay, and said Taylor Swift is a white supremacist when she was like, I want to make the block look like you or something, when referencing having many children with Travis Kelce. This was also a banger. I'm afraid this was a banger. I will admit that. But I guess the lyrics in and of itself do not work with the flow that she puts out. But with like a MF Doom flow, it actually works a lot better.
Swift's lyrics, just pretend they were written by MF Doom.
I was your father figure. We drank that brown liquor. You made a deal with this devil. Turns out my dick's bigger. You wanna fight, you found it. I got the place surrounded. You'll be sleeping with fishes before you know that you're drowning. Whose portrait's on the mantle? Who covered up your scandals? Mistake my kindness for weakness and find your card canceled. I was your father figure. You pulled the wrong trigger. This empire belongs to me, Taylor.
That actually, nah, bro, this isn't good. Stop playing. Top comment basically says you have to change everything about it to make it good. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is not a defense of Taylor Swift. This actually is, I think, a major criticism of Taylor Swift. Like, maybe you can defend the lyricism of it by pointing it like this, but this literally means that like the song works in an entirely different, if it's just an entirely different song and not the song that you are listening. But in any case, people are very mad. Is this the video you were talking about before? Wait, I think this might be the one. No, not this one. There was another one. There was another one. There was another one. There was another one. Because some of these criticisms I do agree with broadly. Like, as far as Taylor Swift having like limitations of being like a supremely wealthy white lady, of course she's going to have limits to her understanding of the world. She's going to have some horse blinders on, you know? I don't disagree with that at all. But that predates this latest album, you know? But there was one that was like making it seem as though she was like actively and deliberately. Oh, this is the one. Yes, this is the one. This is the one. You know this is a Swiftie, by the way.
Taylor Swift is handing the conservative agenda on a silver platter to the masses. And before I go any further, and before you argue with me, you cannot convince me that the master lyricist of our generation, akin to Shakespeare, the Easter egg master.
Okay. Like, can we, this has to be a Swiftie, right? Like, I mean, she's saying like unironically that Taylor Swift's like lyricism is akin to Shakespeare.
Of our generation is not.
No, this woman is a high Beyonce stan like me, queen. Wait, really?
Aware of what her entire optics and lyrics and album and everything is giving at this very moment. And before you suggest that this was supposed to be a satirical album, I would like to remind you how she feels about this album in her own words.
World to me to have this creative experience where like we knew that we had to bring the best ideas we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I also know the pressure I'm putting on this record by saying that, but I don't care because I love it that much. And there's not other ones coming. This is the
Oh, her name is Basis Christ. Oh, she is Bayhive. Oh my God.
record I've been wanting to make for a very long time.
I'll try to rapid fire this as fast as I can so that my video is not an hour long, but we're going to start with the rollout of the album, the announcement of the album on our boyfriend's football podcast. Our boyfriend who plays for the NFL, who we are now aligning our brand with, who is one of the most racist and problematic industries in our country. Yes. Listen, I don't know how long Taylor Swift's been doing this, but I know it's been a pretty good amount of time. She's worked pretty hard for her career. But why are we sharing what you are saying is the best piece of work you've ever put out, and you're going to share it with a man? You're going to announce it with a... This is where the optics are starting. We are creeping our way down the conservative pipeline, and before you say that's a reach, I'm not done. We all know what's coming next, the engagement. They got engaged as a package deal with the album rollout. Yes, they did. The album was announced, and 1 day later, 2 days later, it was announced that they were engaged. We could talk about how manufactured that is. We could talk about how inauthentic it is. We could also talk about how it is yet another step towards the...
Basically, she says these lyrics over here somewhere in the video is actually promoting white supremacy. And maybe people will get mad at me, but like, although I am critical of Taylor Swift for, you know, or you know, for being a billionaire, being out of touch, flying around in private jets, hanging out with you know, MAGA Republicans from time to time, or people who are like, you know, pro-Trump from time to time, as is the case with like wealthy people. I thought this was a little bit of a stretch. Have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. I don't think, or using AI, that was another one, but I don't even think that she would like deliberately use the AI. I think she probably outsourced it to someone who was using AI. But this, I don't think this is her literally being like...
And a baby face. They want freedom. They want 3 dogs they call their kids. But I just want you. Have a couple kids, have the whole block looking like you. And then say that again. I want to have your white babies, and I actually want our entire neighborhood to be racially homogenous. She went through the...
No, dude, I don't think that was what the intention was. I think she just meant like she wants to have a lot of children. I do like, is woke back? Because I feel like this is like 2020 era of woke. I think this is like, you can say she's like tradwifing it for sure. But like when you say this is, you know, basically her saying the 14 words, I feel like that's not, I don't know. I feel like that's maybe a stretch. But then again, I haven't seen talking like Travis Kelce is a Gaza journalist. What is this? He's out there every single week putting his life on the line. She's talking about Travis Kelce like he's some journalist in Gaza fighting for his life. Wait, what? Taylor Swift addresses why she hasn't headlined the Super Bowl halftime show yet. I'm in love with a guy who does that sport on the actual field. That's violent chess. That is dangerous. The whole season, I'm locked in on what that man is doing on the field. Can you imagine? He's out there every single week putting his life on the line. And I'm like, I'm wondering what my choreo should be. I should do 2 verses of Shake It Off into Blank Space into Cruel Summer would be great. This has nothing to do with Travis. He would think this is great. I'm too locked in. Yeah, tribe wife who's a workaholic billionaire. No, I'm saying that the presentation is like she's very happy. She's very happy about her relationship. And the album, I think, reflects that. And I think maybe it's not... Hasan, you don't understand this because you're white? What do you mean? Understand what? I mean, I don't know why she's talking like she's a cop wife over here. You know what I mean? I guess objectively, the NFL is probably a little bit more dangerous than being a cop. The rule of show business is if the first week of my album release and you're saying either my name or my album title, you're helping. That was her response to the fans who dislike the life of a showgirl. Oof. She throws shade at Megan Thee Stallion and says she's not a bad bitch or a savage. She also calls Travis X Onyx and herself as opalite. Taylor Swift is a white supremacist, full stop. I mean, I'm not a Swiftie by any metric, okay? But I feel like a lot of people who are angling this from every avenue so far has taken it to, dare I say, extreme levels. Let's hear this one.
Unfortunately, good is not one of them. I knew the album wasn't going to be good as soon as the title was revealed, but the promo pics made me curious, so I have listened to the album in full. And now, having listened to it, the album's problem is glaringly obvious.
I am a hot girl, by the way. Stay away from Megan Thee Stallion. What's my interpretation? I mean, I haven't even listened to the music, so
Taylor Swift.
This makes it all the more humorous for me because I haven't even listened to the music. I've heard more commentary on Taylor Swift's new album than I have heard Taylor Swift's actual new album.
The problem is Taylor Swift is aging out of being a white girl. Before you scroll, let me cook. When Taylor was a teenager, she wanted to be a pop star, so her parents decided to take the country route. Keep in mind, this is the 2000s. Pop music was highly sexual, it was sleazy, and then you had things like bling rap. It's not a place for a little white girl. Country music, on the other hand, loves a little white girl, and she's blonde, they'll eat her up. So her family moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee to launch her country career. That's why for the first several years of her career, she faked a southern accent. She was trying to fit in.
I thought it was funny that she was talking about Travis Kelce's penis, though. That was pretty funny. Like that I thought was lyricism. That was bars. He has hard wood and it gets me excited. It opens his redwood tree, opens my legs, stuff like that. She's just horny. Why is she so horny in this album? I mean, she can be horny if she wants to. But for me, it kind of felt like she was trying to do a Sabrina Carpenter thing. You know, God forbid a woman get dick down and enjoy it. Yeah, I think like, if anything, so you did listen? No, I saw the lyrics online and I thought they were fake because I've seen a bunch of fake lyrics online about how like I went back in time to vote for Adolf Hitler. There was one where there was a dude that was posting saying Taylor Swift, one of the lyrics was, I went back in time and voted for Adolf Hitler over and over again. And then she says, I punched every woman on the way to the voting booth. I punched every woman in the face on my way to the voting booth to vote for Adolf Hitler. Yeah, wow, this new Taylor Swift album is disgusting. I went back in time and voted for Hitler. I went back in time and voted for Hitler. I went back in time and voted for Hitler. I punched every girl I saw in the face on the way to the booth to vote for Hitler. That's so stupid. It's real. You can tell because of the screenshot.
But I'm not a black bitch, and I'm not a savage, but I'm scared that you might cheat on me with the black hood bitch, and she's gonna have a fat ass, and I have a flat ass, and I don't have no titties, but your last ex, she has some perky titties, and I'm a insecure white girl with a flat chest, thinking that I want.
Is it because Travis Kelce dated almost exclusively black women before Taylor Swift? Is that what it is? Is that the angle? Is that the meta? Yes, bro. Keep the up. I mean, dude, I don't know about goddamn Hollywood celebrities, bro. What are you talking about? I just, yeah, that's why Opalite versus Onyx. What is Opalite? Opalite. Pop superstar slammed for racially charged lyrics aimed at fiance's ex, Cleveland.com. I beg you, please stop. The Swifties are going to get you deported to El Salvador. Listen, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just looking at what's going on. Okay, this is the video you need to watch to understand the drama. It's annoying because everybody keeps sending me TikToks, but it's like half of them are memes like this. Like I haven't arrived at a TikTok that like, oh, this is the one that everyone keeps posting. Okay, we'll watch that one here.
Is obsessed with black women. Let's talk about it. Taylor Swift is obsessed with the fact that several of her exes have moved on to date black women, and she perceives this kind of conquering of Travis as an end or disruption of this pattern, and she's boasting about it in this album. Let's start with Opalite, which is very clearly about Kayla Nicole, Travis Kelce's ex-boyfriend, whom he dated off and on from 2017 to 2022, and oh, Kayla Nicole happens to be black. The lyrics in Opalite could actually not be clearly more like targeting Kayla Nicole, right? It references a video that went viral a couple times in which Travis is literally berating Kayla for being on her phone. Meanwhile, she is an influencer, so that is weirdo behavior because she was working and it's very controlling, but it is very clear nonetheless that that video is referenced in Opalite. The lyric reads, "You couldn't understand it, why you felt alone, you were in it for real, she was in her phone, and you were just a pose," right? Like Taylor could not have been more obvious and like less creative here. It's not enough to me that like Taylor is using this like crazy like worldwide medium to best a woman that like previously dated her ex. It's also the fact that like Taylor is fully aware that Kayla has received like relentless and racist harassment, oftentimes terrifying, from Swifties in reaction to the fact that she previously dated Travis. So like this is like purposefully and like blatantly violent. This song accomplishes two things at once, right? It proves the fact that Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women, and it endangers Kayla Nicole. But obviously our country is not at its best with critical thinking, so let's like analyze a different part of the song, right? So another lyric says, "But I'm not a bad bitch, and this ain't savage, but I'm never gonna let you down." So in this song, Taylor positions herself as this like unique, singular white flower that is so different from what? Black culture. And once you step back and realize the song is like final boss pick me X racism, you realize that Taylor Swift is preoccupied with like this obsession with black women, in part because Travis Kelce has predominantly dated black women in the past. And she wants to define herself as different from his past and therefore better. Again, very weird, very pick me.
Oh my God, Opalite is in reference to Midnight's album. Wait, so she's not even mentioning Opalite as a counter to like Onyx or something? Is that what it is? Everybody has long COVID now, brain fog. Yeah, I can see that. I need so much, dude. This is like, I need to download so much lore to understand exactly what the is happening here, and I feel like I'm in treacherous waters, even trying to comprehend what the is happening here. I feel as though this is I'm not even gonna call cutie because then people are gonna yell at me. Please listen to a normal person who isn't being parasocial about the music but explains the race element. This review of Life of a MAGA Showgirl is brutal.
Behavior. Taylor's not only preoccupied with this idea that Travis has historically dated black women, it's also the reality that several of her exes have moved on from her to black women. And that confounds and ultimately like enrages her, and she's so obsessed with the pattern and the idea that she had to talk about it in this album. Chris, give me examples. Okay, well, we have Harry Styles, who is now reportedly dating Zoe Kravitz. We have Tom Hiddleston, who has moved on to be engaged to and co-parent with a black woman whose name is Zawe Ashton. And then we have Calvin Harris, who went on to marry a black woman named Vic Hope. So it is a pattern, and Taylor Swift is clearly aware of it because she is obsessed with her exes, and all of that together is making me feel very, very strange. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today I'd argue that this idea, the idea that white men have historically left Taylor Swift for black women, is part of her personal mythos, right? I imagine she finds it both confounding and devastating that these men have left her, who is like the pinnacle of Western white beauty, right? She is the ideal white woman. Meanwhile, all of these white guys are leaving her for black women, and I'm sure it's really pissing her off. So when Taylor secured Travis, she achieved the ultimate feat in her mind. She had convinced a white man to leave black.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this is a bit of a stretch. Like, I'm saying that even if I were to believe that Taylor Swift despises black women, which I have no reason to assume that there isn't regular whiteness embedded in that sort of attitude. I don't know if this in and of itself is the reason. So true, bro. She voted for Kamala. Wait, what? Yeah, I wouldn't believe this shit if it wasn't for that song Canceled Is So Ass. Yeah, I feel like the Canceled song is the one that is more indicative of her making a potential potential move in the opposite direction rather than all this other stuff. Taylor and Zoe are really good friends. Zoe was one of the first person to listen to the album Jesus Christ. Okay, well, you guys got to stop sending me what every Taylor Swift song sounds like to me. What is this? Why are you gonna? Oh, I can't hear.
Braid my hair. Last summer it was perfect. It was you and me. Hand in hand like slow motion in the movies. I braid my hair just because I can. We stay up late and throw glitter in the air. Let's dance in the sun, 'cause we're wild and we're free. Dance in the moonlight while kissing in the ocean. I can see you in my dreams.
Okay, I mean, she's kind of cooking for the... Okay, so that's what people are saying. That's what people are saying is sus. I feel like that makes more sense. That definitely, I think yeah, I can see why people didn't appreciate that. I get that. I understand that it maybe doesn't come across in the best light when you think about it. You know what I mean? When you, yeah, I feel like that's a little bit more than coming from Megan so unprovoked. That's insane. What the fuck did Megan do to her? Can we please stop talking about this? I'm a 38-year-old man. I mean, this is the meta. What is this? Taylor Swift attempts to silence critic. ACLU fights back. Wait, what the? What the? The ACLU was beefing with Taylor Swift? Pop front editor Megan Herning wrote a post titled "Swiftly to the Alt-Right. Taylor subtly gets the lowercase KKK in formation." What? How far does this well go? What the? Labeling the post, blog post as defamatory and demanding that she issue a retraction and remove the story from all media sources and cease and desist. The way Travis flirted with Taylor throughout his podcast, he tried it with Meg first and she wasn't interested. No, I saw that it's from 2017. I understand. They were, man, what a time. What a crazy situation. All right, let's hear fucking Moist Critical's take first, and then we'll look at the canceled song.
Science. The Swifties vocally expressing disappointment, and not only in the album, but in the way in which Taylor Swift has gone about it. There is a lot of greed at play here that I would have never even imagined as a money-making strategy. It's so scummy. But Swifties have been well known to support any and everything Taylor Swift does at basically any price point imaginable. You could ask the moon, and they would happily fork over every single doubloon in their piggy bank for it. They would pay $5,000 to be in the same room that Taylor Swift farted in 5 years ago, and they would pay that with a big smile on their face, and go online to rave about the incredible experience being near a smidgen of ass molecule that Taylor Swift shared the same air as this one room one time. Like, and yet they are talking about how disappointing this is from Taylor. That's crazy to me. That has to be like an indicator for an impending apocalypse. Like, I bet if you correlate this with the Mayan calendar, we're going to find evidence to the end times right around the corner. It is shocking, to say the least. And since I brought up the end times, I want to tell you that the end of bad hygiene is here, thanks to our soap Cheeky. We've got a new scent available now. It's the Sunday Scaries. It's our vanilla scent, which is a scent that has been requested highly for like the last year, and it's finally here. So you can go to usecheeky.com and get yourself the best soap ever created. So naturally, before getting into like the greedy monetization model for this album, Life of a Showgirl, I'll go ahead and give you my opinion on the album because I decided to take a little listen. I didn't hate it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what all the hoopla is about. Like, it seems like just a very normal Taylor Swift album. Admittedly, there's nothing on there that jumped out at me as a classic.
Yeah, I feel like for white guys or just dudes in general, right? This doesn't like even the stuff that I have like bits and pieces that I've heard, like it just sounds like previous Taylor Swift albums. And I don't know if that's like up to say, but I didn't even fully understand like why Swifties didn't like it. You know? Like this song, let's hear it Canceled, right? Here, let's take a look. So for me, I mean, there is nothing different about this song than other Taylor Swift songs that I have heard. Like it doesn't even track as like, I mean, people will say like, oh, this is worse. I'm just telling you, I can't understand why this would be worse. I mean, lyrics aside, I'm just talking like if I were to listen to any Taylor Swift song, like this is just, it just sounds similar. As far as the lyrics goes, good thing I like my friends Canceled. I don't know what she is like referencing here, but I guess like she's taking a anti-cancel culture stance. That's because you're musically illiterate. As a longtime Swift hater, this album is objectively worse, is sonically petulant and annoying. She's talking about Blake Lively. What's the cancellation of Blake Lively? Taylor Swift confirms canceled meaning on the Life of a Showgirl. Oh, it's the thing. The Justin Baldoni situation. That's what it is. Could be Brittany Mahomes too. Wait, that's crazy. No. Old unk ass. You think it's about... Okay, do I need to pull up Fantano's take on this? Someone send me the Anthony Fantano review, please. Wait, did you girl boss Too Close to the Sun? I like them cloaked in Gucci and Scandal and Poison Thorny Flowers, Tone Deaf and Hot. Let's off her. Commentator previously called the pop star and actress girl bosses who flew too close to the sun. Candace Owens? Blake Lively? Blake Lively appears to respond to the backlash to tone deaf publicity for It Ends With Us.
Hi everyone, me Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Taylor Swift album, The Life of a Showgirl. This is the 12th full-length studio album from, I guess, who's the biggest songwriter on the planet, Miss Taylor Swift. What can be said about Taylor Swift that has not been said a million bajillion times already? Or would even be widely agreed upon by everybody? Continually, I find the strangest thing about Taylor Swift to be that there is just so little agreement on her, despite her immense fame and exposure. She's almost like a Rorschach test for pop fans.
Yeah, I just realized I think this lyric is about me. I like him cloaked in Gucci. Remember when I got canceled for having a famous Gucci shirt. I think she was talking about me, dude. She must have seen the GQ photo shoot. Yeah. That's what it is, actually. Canceled friend reference. What the is this, bro? What? Huh? I feel like I shouldn't be seeing this. I feel like my eyes should not be gazing upon that. I think she also had a 4chan account. No, dude, I don't think she has a 4chan account. What would be the purpose? I think she's a boring, banal lib, dude, when it comes to her politics. I don't think she's like, the f are you guys talking about? What is it about Taylor Swift that makes people, both lovers and haters alike, that go absolutely nutty mode? And by the way, boring and banal libs can still exhibit white supremacist qualities. Absolutely. That doesn't mean. And boring, banal liberals could also turn into MAGA as well. That's not what I'm, I just don't think that she was like into 4chan style neo-Nazi memes or whatever.
At this point, I would say. Because not only are there just such vastly different reads of her and her music in terms of if it's good, if it's not, if it's deep, if it's shallow, so on and so forth, but often many of these takes say more about the person giving them than Taylor herself. One thing is for sure, wherever Taylor Swift and her music goes, some kind of debate is sure to follow. And I will give credit where it's due and say that the past 5 years of her career have just been masterfully played in terms of her output, her accomplishments, and her ability to engage and enthrall her audience. Because not only did you have those pandemic era indie folk sister albums, which in my opinion were kind of the creative highlight of her career thus far, but then in addition to that, there was also the massively successful Eras Tour. And let's not also forget, she was re-recording and re-releasing all of her older records in order to have master's copies of those albums that she fully owned, only for her to have recently bought all of her masters back anyway. And then also, she was still dishing out new album cycles too, between Midnights, as well as the very lengthy and massive Tortured Poets Department, both sort of divisive albums in their own right in her catalog, but their commercial success cannot be denied. So even if they weren't strokes of creative genius, they most definitely showcase strokes of marketing genius. So Taylor is truly at a point right now.
What? Swiftie is 17 years here. She did, in fact, have a 4chan account as far as we know. She wasn't into alt-right memes, but was just there for attention. Wait, what? She had a 4chan account? Wait, what do you mean? It's an anonymous poster. What do you mean? That sounds crazy. That sounds like something 4chan itself cooked up. She used 4chan to name her cat Meredith. Like, people don't even have 4chan accounts in general. Why fans think Taylor Swift has a 4chan account? Okay, we can't even. Oh my God, let's stay on message
now
here.
In her career where she is really just operating with cheat codes on. She can truly just do anything she wants just because. But despite everything currently coming up Taylor, it does seem that she is trying to do her best to give her fan base a highly demanded reset of sorts with the life of a showgirl. And how is she doing that? Well, first off, she is cutting the fat, basically throwing away the endless sprawl and lengthy runtimes of projects like Folklore and Evermore Together, as well as the Tortured Poets Department, which, if you remember, pretty much got extended out to 2 full albums with the deluxe edition. And this project is also, in its own way, a departure from the sonics and instrumentation on Midnights too, because at least for now, Taylor Swift is moving away from her tried and trusted producers, Jack Antonoff, as well as
A song being shown something, it took people years to figure out. Wait, I don't immediately understand this. It must be fake. I mean, it just sounds so far-fetched. Am I crazy? That does seem like super far-fetched. Because, first of all, like, people just don't have... Do people even have accounts on 4chan? And you're just out of touch with the reality? I guess maybe. Like, it's anonymous. It's very, very... It's for the most part, it's anonymous. So it's, like, unlikely that she would have an account on an anonymous messaging board. Specifically known for being, like... It's a 30-year-old white girl, but if someone had an account, wait, what? Back in the day, you could have something called a trip code that would allow you to post with a username. Is that what happened? Pretty sure Liv Agar's QAA pod did an episode on this years back and found the claim dubious. You make so many assumptions based on something you admit you know nothing about. Like, where's your curiosity? I mean, I do know about 4chan. That's why I'm thinking that it's not very... It seems a bit far-fetched. Because I am not oblivious to 4chan, the hacker known as 4chan.
Aaron Dessner, as a lot of fans seemingly had like an increasing distaste for a lot of the very moody and airy and low impact instrumentals they were bringing to the table. And she has decided instead for the life of a showgirl to team up once again with Max Martin and Shellback, production legends who were there years ago when Taylor Swift was essentially making her first transitions from the world of country to pop music. There's also the matter of the title and messaging and the album rollout and the track list of this record too, which made it pretty apparent from the outset this record in some measure was going to be an analysis, a commentary on Taylor Swift's fame, her life in the limelight, the public image shift she has foreseen in recent years, maybe also recent controversies, elements of her life that are under the magnifying glass now, like her relationship with fiance Travis Kelce, maybe even ways in which her name has been forced into the world of politics. I mean, it was as recently as August that the president was truthing about this woman, talking about how she's a woke singer and no longer hot, and how he can't stand her, which is a kind of insane thing for a pop star to have to experience, even if it is this president. But from the start of this record, it's clear that Taylor Swift has something much more personal in mind, as the opening track here is about, yes, a relationship, which may for Taylor Swift be a typical topic, but is it a typical angle? No, because in Taylor Swift's relationship tales, she's usually a power player, or if she is feeling screwed over, she's boldly asserting her side of the story. But now in this instance, she is depicting herself as essentially having her life saved by Travis' love. Because if he did not love and care for her, she would befall the same fate Ophelia did after Hamlet rejected her. I mean, let's also not forget that he murked her dad too, which, that's also pretty bad. But yeah, it's a very, if not for you, sort of perspective that we don't often hear from Taylor. And this is a shift narratively that she acknowledges in at least one line on the song. But still, it is a significant change. Regardless, though, I do enjoy this opener quite a bit, because I do think the hyperbole going on with this track does play into the idea of an album called The Life of a Showgirl. You know, things are going to be hammed up a little bit, possibly. And in addition to that, I like the production on this track too. It's very punchy, elegant pop music with refined arrangements that have a bit of an orchestral touch to them. So don't go into this album presuming that just because Max Martin is in the mix, we're going to get another synth-heavy, indie-fied set of metropolitan bangers, because that is not what this record is. This is very much clearly not another 1989. Comparatively, I would say this track has more in common with like a Florence and the Machine song, but just like a little lighter and not so over the top. And I would say still at this point too, vocally, Taylor is still exhibiting a lot of Lana Del Rey influence. She just cannot like let go of the impact that woman's sound and singing has had on her. But at least this time around, she's doing a slightly better job of kind of owning it in a way to where it doesn't feel like she's just doing an imitation.
So I'm putting on every white guy's take. Yeah, this makes the most sense. No. Well, I mean, I am trying to... I mean, first of all, we started off by listening to another, a brown lady So it's not even correct.
In addition to this, I would say a lot of these same elements are present on the following track, Elizabeth Taylor, but they're turned up to 11 with bigger drums, grand piano touches, strings, shoutier vocal passages too. Really cute lines as well, like "Be my NY when Hollywood hates me." And the track for the most part seems to very much be about how love and fame intersect for her, while also addressing her potential shelf life as a public figure. Following this, we have Opalite, which I would say is another highlight on the album, contributing to a pretty strong first leg. And the verses on this track read with the same groovy, soft pop rock instrumental palettes that you might catch on a Fleetwood Mac classic. But then it bursts into this jubilee of 60s girl group vocal harmonies. Big contrast, but simultaneously, Taylor and her collaborators somehow make it work. And they've really modernized this sound with sequence drums and digital reverbs that make all the instrumentation sound real starry. Overall, it's one of the more toned down songs in the track list here, but still, it's smooth and catchy nonetheless, and a welcome change from a lot of the turgid and tedious pacing of many songs from Tortured Poets. But Showgirl, as direct as it is not entirely a simple listen, because Taylor very quickly in this track list begins to complicate things a little bit with some very strange messaging and points of view, like on Father Figure, which is another number that does stick with me, honestly, instrumentally and melodically. I do think it's quite the earworm. And I also appreciate how the drama of this track fits in with the...
You don't listen to music, so you won't know, but this review reeks of Fantano taking Dark Money. The album is that bad? Dark Money? You think Anthony Fantano took Dark Money? Like Taylor Swift funded Anthony Fantano's review.
Aesthetics and the overall mood.
He gave it a 4 out of 10. Guys, spoiler, dude.
And vibe of a Showgirl album. On some level, it does feel like Taylor is a little in character, as to me, this song kind of reads like the act of putting on a mask so you can get away with saying the sort of things that you actually want to say. As on this song, Taylor is very much playing out a bit of a power fantasy, talking about some sort of protege who she pings as reminding her of a younger version of herself. But deeper into the song, the lyrics talk more about Taylor's own character than this person, kind of portraying herself as this very benevolent father figure who protects the family and is kind of like guiding and helping this person, and all they ask for in return is that they are loyal. And while at first this figure comes across like, very nice and very understanding, I mean, still the way this operates, it's still very cold-blooded, it's business-oriented, it's his way or the highway. It's actually maybe a little Trumpian, especially as she drops lines about how her dick is bigger, and also you'll be sleeping with the fishes before you know you're drowning. So yeah, there are elements of this track and this character that are kind of unhinged, and as catchy as I think the track is, parts of it do skeeve me out because there are elements of it that feel like it comes from a place of sincerity. But for as much as I have some light criticisms for this song, the album begins to take a real serious nosedive into Eldest Daughter, which musically is kind of like your stereotypical millennial somber piano ballad. Taylor really retracts the claws on this one and instead portrays herself as somebody who is just overcome with sadness because of how dark and cynical the internet is, with lines like, everybody's so punk on the internet, everyone's unbothered till they're not, every joke's just trolling and memes, sad as it seems, apathy is hot. And not that these feelings or observations are completely inaccurate, but it's more of an issue of the messenger versus the message. Because, I mean, you're Taylor Swift, you're not the lone bleeding heart in an ocean of trolls and haters. Like, the way that you operate in the world and present yourself is just as calculated as any of these haters who are trying their best to act like they don't care. In fact, Taylor does exactly that deeper into the album, which we will get to in a bit, I guess. So she doesn't even live up to the portrayal that she gives herself on this song. And to further add to the disconnected fantasy world this song exists in, you have lines like, I've been afflicted by a terminal uniqueness. I've been dying just from trying to seem cool. I'm sorry, I get indigestion just thinking of saying that line. I've been afflicted by a terminal uniqueness. Do you have 4 months left to live? Like, what stage is this terminal uniqueness? Has it gotten into the lungs? After this, we have Ruin the Friendship, which more like Ruin the Song. I mean, it's not the most unique pop songwriter song out there for sure. But, you know, if you like some old school Taylor Swift or some Jewel, you'll at least find something in the very personal and tragic story this song has to offer, as the track is all about a high school crush, the nostalgia, the imagery, the tension of, you know, wanting to kiss this guy. But then suddenly, he passes away in an absolutely...
The fact that every one of these Taylor Swift lines is 100% sincere makes me cringe that much more intense. Yeah, I mean, that in and of itself is like fine. I feel like people treat that as though it's like a ridiculous statement, but like, yeah, it's just, you know, it's just cringe. No, that's what it is, right?
Genuinely heart-wrenching moment. But then Taylor's takeaway and advice from this point forward, given that fact, is you should have made sure that you made out with him anyway. Like, the relationship status in the song is a bit muddy, and I would hate for someone to take the wrong message away from this track and think like, you know, I should just wantonly try to steal other people's girlfriends and boyfriends because who cares? It's better than living with the regret of having not made out with them in case they die. Following from here, we have more low points, like with the song Actually Romantic, which is a pop rock number with a very tried and true chord progression that, believe me, you've heard a million times. But sadly, the performance on this track never really truly rocks. It just stays kind of...
One thing that I've experienced with what do you call it, with comedians, is that when they reach a certain point in their career, because comedy, just like music, is about your personal reflections, your personal experiences, things that you have observed, things that you've experienced, and trying to make light of that, right? That's what comedy's about. And music is not dissimilar to that as well. Music is also about your lived experiences, your relationships, you know, the ups and downs and stuff like that. One thing that I've noticed with like comedians is when they reach a certain point and become incredibly wealthy, they become out of touch. They become out of step with regular folk. Okay? And I think that's part of the reason why it's like difficult for Taylor Swift to come out with relatable albums the wealthier she gets. The wealthier she becomes, the more out of touch she becomes with the regular people, and the less she can tap into that well of personal experiences that are otherwise considered relatable. So I think that's part of the problem with, Taylor Swift, regular girl next door, high school sweetheart, and that kind of experiences that she can invoke. Because we are talking about a multi-billionaire who flies everywhere with private jets, who is one of the most famous people in America, who is going to have a hard time the older she gets, and the more wealthy and more successful she becomes. She's going to have a harder time tapping into the regular experiences that other people are going through. And I guess like part of that, I said one of the most famous people in America, and someone immediately says in the world, period. I mean, in America and in the Western world in general, for sure. But like I suspect if you were to go to Korea or something and you put up Taylor Swift next to, I don't know, like who's the guy who's the iconic League player, Faker, or even like, yeah, BTS or whatever, like obviously, you know, different parts of the world, different strokes for different folks. This girl has been out of touch, rich since she was a fetus. Sure, billionaire Swift is out of touch, but she was never in touch with anything more than being a perpetually love-struck teen at one point. Now she's 30 plus. I just, you know, it said Joe Alwyn helped her write Lover. Travis helped write this one. Wait, what? Stop. I don't think Travis Kelce knows how to write, let alone wrote the album. I think you were making a joke, right? You were making a joke about how like That's not. I don't think Travis Kelce is literate.
Thin and stiff the entire time, even as the drums are like, at full capacity for this song anyway, which is unfortunate because I think
between the two of them, Travis is the one who went and graduated from college. Just saying, yeah, that doesn't mean much. Okay.
If a track this snarky and this unhinged is going to be pulled off effectively, Taylor should really.
Travis, his tongue sticking out, is like, yo, write that line about the redwood penis. Talk about my erection.
Be going full on into this feeling and this response here, which don't give me that bullshit about how Anthony, she's supposed to be acting nonchalant on the song. I'm sorry, you're writing a response to somebody. The nonchalance is out the window. You are totally and fully giving a care. And you're literally dropping lyrics about how this person's obsession with you makes you wet. Go crazy with it. Go insane. Go over the top. Get unhinged. There are currently a lot of allegations around the internet right now of proposing that this song is in fact about Charlie XCX because maybe the song is Taylor picking up on the meaning behind Sympathy is a Knife from Charlie's last record, Brat, which if Taylor is the person Charlie is singing about on that song, it's not a diss. It's not an insult. It's not in anything. Charlie is singing about somebody who is a source of insecurity for her, which if that's you, Taylor, you are merely a placeholder in that situation. I'm sorry. Anybody who reached a point of success that you did in that dynamic would be a source of anxiety and insecurity for Charlie in that song. Again, if people supposing that this is about Charlie XCX, if they're correct. But yeah, if Taylor was going to write a response to somebody about someone who is seemingly obsessed with her and has negative things to say about her behind.
Deeper dive into the beef? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's get the Brat beef out of the way. It's kind of interesting because like Charlie XCX and Taylor Swift both endorsed Kamala Harris. Not that it really matters in this situation, but Charlie XCX also has canceled friends, right? I mean, she's like homies with the Red Scare Girls and shit like that. So I don't really know. I don't really know what to make of this. Oh, God. I don't really know what to make of that. Charlie didn't endorse. She called Kamala a brat. Okay, well, that's an endorsement. Is it not? She wrote a song about Dasha on Brat, and all these leftists are like, oh, Charlie. Yes, this is a little bit like high school drama between 30-year-old billionaire versus 30-year-old. I don't know if she's a millionaire, but
was dancing and having the best time during Charlie XCX's performance at the Grammys while planning to release a whole diss track towards her. Let's talk about this new diss track and whether or not Taylor misunderstood the Charlie song that started this all. So last year, Charlie released the song Sympathy is a Knife on her album Brat, and the song is about feeling insecure around a very successful woman. Fans were convinced this song was about Taylor because of the lyric, don't want to see her backstage.
I will say, like, regardless of my opinion of who Charlie CX is or whatever, or the Kamala Brat memes being overcooked, I do think that her album was a banger. I did like it a lot. I listened to it quite a bit. It was pretty good. And I don't really listen to a lot of music.
At my boyfriend's show, fingers crossed behind my back, I hope they break up quick. Charlie's man, George Daniel, is in the 1975 with Maddie Healy, who Taylor was dating in 2023. So that is how Charlie would see Taylor backstage at her boyfriend's show. Charlie also tweeted Sympathy is a Knife the same day Taylor's album, The Tortured Poets Department, dropped. So all signs were pointing to this song being about Taylor. After this song and Brat came out though, Taylor continued to show support towards Charlie. Taylor gave a quote to a New York Magazine story about Charlie in August of 2024 that said, I've been blown away by Charlie's melodic sensibilities since I first heard Stay Away in 2011.
It is pretty crazy that, wait, is this drama somehow related back to like, does Adam Friedland play a role in this? Because like, isn't that why that relationship had a lot of friction? Because Maddie Healy went on TAFs and set up and was like really trying to impress Nick Mullen and Adam Friedland. And then in an effort to do so, he said some like crazy shit on there. And then the Swifties who were like super woke at the time got real mad. It even led to like Ice Spice appearing alongside Taylor Swift later down. It kind of feels like he might have played a role in this album. Yeah, this is Adam Friedland causing this multi-year long crash out from Taylor Swift is my 9/11 50 Shades of Grey domino effect. Charlie used the attention on her to post on her story about the protests going on in Israel, and Taylor's ex Joe would do this as well. Travis Kelce's response to Wood.
I mean, it's so descriptive. I've listened to it like 3,000 times. It's insane. It starts subtle, but then the second verse is just not subtle at all. No, not subtle at all by the end. It's crazy. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Oh, you heard the song. Bro, it's crazy. Good for you, pal. Pat, you've been showering next to me for years. You know this. I mean, yeah, I've seen it, but I've never seen you put it to work. Yeah, you know that Mark Jackson meme where it says, like, I'm sorry, I was unfamiliar with your game until now? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but with your cock. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just that good. You might be the coolest guy I know. I can't believe I'm throwing passes to a tripod. I'm not gonna lie, the podcast shout out was sick. The most famous pop star on earth wrote a song about how great your dick game is, and your big takeaway was that she shouted out your podcast. It's free advertising, all right? The free advertising is that everybody knows you're packing a hip breaker down there. You're the coolest guy I know, Trav. She called it a redwood tree. Several times. Yeah, several times. And a magic wand. So is this gonna make it?
I thought the 1970s Five Guys said some legitimately racist stuff about Ice Spice, not just woke shit. No. He like I said, he was trying to impress Adam Friedland and Nick Mullen. And if you're not a comedian and you try to do that, you're gonna come across as saying some wild shit.
Writing is surreal and inventive always.
Which then
she just takes a song to play.
Which then literally led to, this is what she posted, Israeli protests. Charlie XA shared a post or a story about the protests in Tel Aviv demanding an end to the war in Gaza. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis joined nationwide protests to demand an end to a war in Gaza. I mean, it's, you know. All right, cool.
You wouldn't expect it to go, and she's been doing it consistently for over a decade. I love to see hard work like that pay off. And that was the same story that highlighted the photo shoot Charlie did with a severed, bloody hand that had a friendship bracelet on. A lot of fans thought that this was some sort of shade towards Taylor because Taylor's whole brand at the time was friendship bracelets, which were insanely popular during the Eras tour. But Taylor was still vibing to Charlie's performance at the Grammys. Taylor recorded The Life of a Showgirl in summer of 2024, which means that she gave a quote to an article praising Charlie and danced to her performance at the Grammys while already having her song, her diss track, actually romantic made. The song is about someone who hates on Taylor so much to the point where Taylor is actually flattered by it because it's giving fan behavior. The opening lines of the song are, "Heard you call me boring Barbie when the coke's got you brave, high fives my ex, and then you said you're glad he ghosted me." And this is the chorus.
Okay, this also feels like I'm not mad. I don't even care. I'm not mad at all, by the way. Like, that's what it's giving. Right? And for me, it's like, you're Taylor Swift. Like, you shouldn't in general. You should not care about anything. You're Taylor Swift. It reminds me almost of like the Mr. Beast moment where he was like he was like posting about Caleb. She wrote about her taking an L. Well, the Maddie Healy stuff is sensitive. It's her trigger.
Now, Sympathy is a Knife by Charlie really isn't a diss track at all. It's about Charlie's insecurities with comparing herself to other successful women. So if Taylor based Actually Romantic solely off of Sympathy is a Knife, it does feel like she misunderstood that song. Maybe she was really offended by the friendship bracelet shoe, but then why go and dance to her performance at the Grammys? Like,
yeah, well, she's not even mad. That's the point. People don't like how unbothered she is now. I mean, if she wasn't mad, she wouldn't say the coke's got you brave. If she actually wasn't mad, she just wouldn't make a song about it. Am I crazy? Like, I feel like that's not... Am I crazy? I'd be mad too. Charlie makes music that actually slaps. Also, she's hot. Two things. Okay, calm down. In the song, she implies she knows a lot of things Charlie has said about her regarding Maddie Healy. So this song is a more I know more than you think I know. You're fake and obsessed, not a response to sympathy is a knife.
I just don't understand. This is sad though. I mean, there was a time when Charlie and Taylor were singing Shake It Off together every single night when Charlie was opening for Taylor on the Reputation tour. Let me know what you guys think of all of this and make sure to follow me for more music tea.
Deep canyons on coastline.
So why are we assuming this is about Charlie? Like, I feel like there is nothing next to implying that except for the cocaine. I like that we all assume that it's Charlie because she mentions cocaine, but I think it's I don't know. I have to pee again. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna leave you. Swifty said it was about Charlie. Okay. Why should we care about this? I'm just working through it. Okay. I'm trying to understand. It's like a boomer's first interaction with this, whatever this is.
The scenes, and she was going to call it out in the way that she is on this track. I just wish she actually drummed up some fireworks in the process, instead of releasing a song that essentially feels like a tweet. After this, we have Wish List, which sonically is a fine cut. It's got a very cute, chill, shimmering beat with chimey synthesizers that give an almost wintry feel. Wouldn't be surprised to hear this track playing in the department stores this December. And the song also comes laced with a simple message, Taylor essentially singing about settling down, having some kids, getting a basketball hoop, maybe living off the grid. And she kind of compares this to the excessive and material wants and desires of everybody else. I'm not blown away by it, but it is endearing a little bit and sort of ushers in, I guess, Taylor's trad wife era a little bit. I also do sense a little bit of a T-Swizzle flow on the refrain of this track, as, Taylor saying, bust up, settle down, got a wish list. Again, it's a listenable cut. What is not very listenable is the following Would, which essentially kind of sounds like a Maroon 5 song from the mid to early 2000s. And, it's a cute enough track about finding love, that initial attraction, but then it just kind of devolves into a bunch of winks and nods about Travis Kelce's dick, with Taylor singing about, his redwood tree and his magic wand and, his key that opened up her thighs and a hard rock. And also she was matized. You can't say dick-matized. You were literally singing about your dick earlier on the album. Yeah, as much as her heart is in this on some level, I'm sure it is. I don't know if horny is Taylor's forte. However, I am even more disturbed by the track Canceled. And no, I'm not just talking about the lyric about girl bossing too close to the sun. No, I'm actually way more bothered by the content of these verses, with Taylor talking about how she doesn't care about optics.
How the fuck do you cover this dog shit but don't do any due diligence on any of the UFO shit in the government? Oh my God. Oh my lordy, dude. Stop it.
How she has friends with matching scars and that they live in an underworld, and about how everybody's at least at some point taken someone's man. Everyone's got bodies in the attic, and also her talking about learning the art of not getting caught. Not getting caught doing what? What friends are you talking about? What underworld are you living in? This song is either one of two things. It's either Taylor Swift really building up in a hyperbolic fashion how unlikable and canceled her friend group is, which in that case, it's just kind of fake and cringe. Or in the other case, she actually is currently surrounded by some very terrible, awful people, which how bad are we talking? How many bodies are in the attic? How many men have these people stolen? Have any of these people turned up on the Epstein flight logs? I'm just saying, in a time and a place where there's some pretty awful people out there not getting repercussions for the terrible things they do out in the open, this is a very strange song to release. Very out of touch, very tone deaf. After this, Honey, I just don't want to or know how to get into, because it really is a pointless snoozer of a track. It adds nothing to the album that all the songs previous to it didn't already. It's really just like the biggest nothing burger on the record. And then we have the closer, which in my opinion is just a weak finale. I mean, some of the instrumental palette changes are kind of cute and definitely kind of give way to that showgirl vibe and aesthetic and angle the album is trying to play. But all these changes, all this building doesn't really culminate into a grandiose finish that leaves things feeling worthy of the title, The Life of a Showgirl. I mean, sure, the song is obviously a commentary on fame and performance itself, but honestly, we've been subjected to endless strings.
Canceled his defense of Brittany Mahomes, who Trump shouted out specifically lame as. Do we actually have proof on that? Like, do we know that there confirmation? No shot you are going to do this? No, I'm asking what it is. Is she that tight with Patrick Mahomes' wife? Yes. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know that. They go on double days often. I know that Patrick Mahomes is or not Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' wife is like is MAGA. I know that. Yes, they're besties, and Patrick Mahomes' wife used to also be besties with Travis Kelce's ex, but she dumped her for Taylor. What the fuck? Wait, hold up. Taylor Swift sends Brittany Mahomes' handwritten note on the heels of canceled song speculation. Pop star wrote the Life of a Showgirl track canceled about her. The former soccer pro took their Instagram stories Monday to share the note, which was inside of an orange sparkling PR package. If you're reading this, you're someone special who's shown love, someone I admire, someone ultimately I want to celebrate with as the welcome of the life of a showgirl into the world, the note reads. Mahomes was one of the many Swift's PR lists to receive the package after fans speculated the latter's track canceled was inspired by her. In the song, the Grammy winner seemingly offers a friend who's been publicly ridiculed an extended hand singing, "Did you girl boss too close to the sun? Did they catch you having far too much fun? Come with me when they see us, they'll run. Something wicked this way comes." She then goes on to sing, "Good thing I like my friends canceled. I like them cloaked in Gucci and in scandal. Like my whiskey sour and my poison thorny flowers. Welcome to my underworld where it gets quite dark. At least you know exactly who your friends are. They're the ones with matching scars." Fans suggest that Swift's line about Gucci was a nod to Mahomes after she sported attire from the fashion powerhouse in the 2024 U.S. Open. At the time, the mom of three was on a double date with her husband, Patrick Mahomes, Swift, and Travis Kelce, who also dressed in Gucci. Swift also penned an athletic nod in the track, singing, "Single drop, you're off the roster, tone deaf and hot, let's off her," which fans also speculated was about Britney. Wait, what is that? The Sports Illustrated model has come under fire online for subtly implying that she supports President Trump, notably opposing Swift's political beliefs. Britney also received heat for spraying a bottle of champagne at NFL fans after the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Buffalo Bills. At one point, she took to X to address the hate she was receiving, writing, "I just wish I could do what I want without getting attacked every week." Bro, even I got a handwritten note from her. It's not news. Wait, I'm so confused. I thought you were on the "this is about Brittany Mahomes and she's a racist" train. And now it feels like you're saying the opposite. Which is it? The song is 100% about Blake Lively after the initial tone-deaf comments and an article calling her canceled during the movie press tour last summer before the Baldoni stuff. She wrote this album in the summer of 2024. Dog, she was spraying champagne on fans in minus 15 degrees. It was literally one of the coldest games ever. Are you a fan of the shorts and dress shirt? No, this is an abysmal fit, especially including the shoes as well. That is craziness. That is crazy. What are you doing? Okay. What do you want? What do you want from me? For those of you who ask, why do you always do the place command? The reason why I always do the place command is because she likes to lay on the ground. Okay? She likes to be by my side, but she likes to lay on the ground. And the reason why I don't like letting her lay on the ground as opposed to that bed is because the bed, come here. is because the bed is better for her joints. Okay? Get her a better bed then? No, that bed is perfectly fine for her. Because when she lays on the ground as a big girl, it fucks up her joints. Don't let him lie to you, Chad. It's because he's a terrorist? Yeah. Why do you need to tell people this? Did something happen? Yes. It's going viral that they're claiming that the most well-trained and the most spoiled, best kept after dog on the planet is actually being abused by me, apparently. Because I gave her the place command while she was getting off, and then she yelped. These chatters don't know she broke the other beds? Yeah. She'd broken the previous bed. Bro, that dog is being abused. 4-hour streams every day of Hasan. I can't imagine. Yeah. And I suspect it's coming from, some crazy haters. They said you shocked her with a button. Yeah. In my evil villain lair. Good thing I didn't hit the trapdoor button instead on accident. She reviewed food online. She yelped. No, she went when she was getting off the bed. Because I assume she like either stepped funny or clipped her foot on something. I don't know. Yeah, it came from the H3 sub. They didn't even hide it. Literally the exact same people every time. People just eat it up. All the same drama freaks activated. Yes. It's going to be in the next content. Nuke. I'm confused. How did she get shocked? Or is that fake? There's no way for her to be shocked. That is fake. The parasocials are saying you don't take her out. Isn't she off leash trained? And you literally take her out every day? Yes. I do. Across the threads is like 10K replies in an hour. Bots and AstroTurf, so dumb. It is what it is. What are you going to do? There were like 7 LSF threads about this. Ethan made like 6 Instagram posts about it. There's no real drama here. It's 100% manufactured. Shared on the C. Sam Stinney sub, then went to KKK3 sub, and then went to LSF. Probably Diddy Dan AstroTurfing again. Yeah. Bro, I never get threads notifications about this one, but I got one. Bobby Althoff is the CIA. Plant is an activist now. What's your verdict on Taylor Swift? I think everyone is out of control. Israel calls prominent Democrat mouthpiece for Hamas in blistering October 7 post. The Israel foreign minister said Mamdani stands with Jews only when they are dead. Incredible. All right, let's get back to the Taylor tweet. Taylor T.
This point from the pop world of, many a single, many a record that analyzes exactly that. What does this track bring to the table that all of those other songs and albums didn't already? Not much. Outside of a decent Sabrina Carpenter feature. But yeah, unfortunately, a truly forgettable ending to an album that starts a lot stronger than it finishes. But yeah, that's the life of a showgirl, I guess. Sadly, I'm very torn on what...
Did I lose connection again? Am I still live? Can you guys see me? Can you see me? Because the chat stopped. I don't know if you can see me or not. No. This keeps happening today. I don't know why. It's very annoying. Kaya, please.
Taylor Swift had to offer this time around. In one breath, I really do like that this album was poppier. catchier, punchier, more direct and to the point. Again, cutting away at the excessive runtime of the Tortured Poets Department and all that. But simultaneously, like, this is some of Taylor Swift's worst writing lyrically she has ever done in her entire career. Worst, tackiest, most out of touch, most childish. I mean, people have been saying this, and I do tend to agree, that there are songs that she wrote when she was a teenager or in her early 20s that comparatively to many songs on this album are more mature and more poetic. But I mean, you don't even need to go back that far. Just look at some of the autobiographical and otherwise writing that was all over Folklore and Evermore. Like just 5 years ago, Taylor was writing immensely more mature and smarter tracks that had just a lot more depth to their emotions, to their storytelling, to a lot of things, frankly. Sadly, I feel like this record's biggest issue is that it truly is just dumbed down, which is why I'm feeling a light to decent 4 on this one. Tran?
People are saying this is too positive of a review for Fantano because he's like a routine slapper of 2s on albums. Are you going to talk about Zach Bryan cancellation by Hogs? Yes. Now that we're doing a music segment, of course I'm going to be talking about Zach Bryan as well, who has been going nutty mode, outlaw country style. Okay? I don't think this is a positive review at all. 4 out of 10? How is that positive? Holy f***, he's watching the stream and bringing all the equally brain dead fans in here? Who? What? This is too high for Taylor Swift haters and too low for Swifties? Yeah. Do you mean the rhetoric isn't harsh enough? How does Gavin Newsom game more than you? You already know why. Anyway. Where were we? Oh. Is too high for me as a Swiftie. I'm going to be honest. I think she's paying people. Yeah, I don't think Anthony Fantano got paid. I'll be honest. You have to make sure you're a human. What the f***'s going on today? I can't even go on Genius. Eldest Daughter by Taylor Swift. 5th track on the Life of a Showgirl falls in the vulnerability that's undeniably displayed on Swift's track 5s. The track deals with the mental struggles that often come with both being an oldest child and elder sister, and how Swift has taken her learnings from being an older sister and used them when dealing with her fame. No, not that one. Your gate is clipping when you first talk. Wait, really? Is there something wrong? Everything is breaking. I'm breaking. Buddy, I'm starting to think you are in on the Swiftie super PAC. I just don't. Yeah, I did see this on the iTunes account. People were saying before September 2025, the last time this account tweeted was in 2019. We can all see what's happening here, and it's embarrassing, man. I guess like they basically pumped it from every angle they possibly can. Side note, massive side note, I just got followed by Twitch user Hasan fans _ blind sheep. Yeah. Hasan abusing the dog now is crazy. Yeah. I don't have any audio issues or anything. Thank you. Dude, it's so funny that people are claiming that I'm abusing my dog when this dog literally lives a better life than every single person. Like literally every single person. 2 hours of park time, extreme cardio in the morning, hanging out with their best friends, fighting, not like dog fighting, but also, you know, just play fighting with her friends for hours on end. Like, it's one of the funniest angles of Attack. Normal people know that you obviously don't abuse your dog, dude. I know, but abnormal people are. There's literally one person pushing this because he's coping about being a terrible dog owner who lets his animals shit everywhere. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Oh, Vanilla Mace's reaction. We were gonna do that. Was not a shock collar used? No, dude. No. The clip does look fishy. I don't think you can run away from that one. There is no running away. What the fuck do you want me to what do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? Be at the mercy of the most schizophrenic people of all time? It's ridiculous. Wait, why the fuck?
Girl, you can never please everyone. And that's the thing. Taylor can't win with you guys. The album is supposed to be hated on. It's a metaphor for how, as a showgirl, you can never please everyone. And that's the thing. Taylor can't win with you guys. Midnights was too poppy for y'all. So then she shifted to Tortured Poets Department, which was too deep. And now she took all your feedback and put it together, and she made The Life of a Showgirl, and it's not enough for you. So when will it be enough? Did you girl boss too close to the sun? You are not allowed to hate on that song because that's about her great grandmother's aunt, Aunt Helga, who passed away in the quakes in 2004. I'm not. Okay,
this is a meme. Let's see what. Watching Cutie Cinderella go through 5 stages of grief with The Life of a Showgirl is so funny. We already watched this. We didn't finish that one. Let me see what Vanilla Mace had to say.
I genuinely, like, I'm not even kidding. I genuinely think it's a joke. Like that, I'm being serious. I think it's a joke, and she's gonna be like, just kidding, y'all, here's the real one. That's how bad. I had a revelation. I'm like, dude, why are people so mean to Taylor? Like, come on. Me trying to just see the good in everyone. I'm like, guys. So then when this album was coming out, and, you know, Cutie was so excited, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt for this album. As someone who is not necessarily a Taylor Swift fan, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. When I went in there and Cutie started playing some of these songs and doing a tier list, I couldn't believe my ears. I genuinely couldn't believe my ears. It literally sounded like AI. I'm not kidding. It sounded like ChatGPT wrote it. She literally was like, that's why you're bae, and that's why I'm swag, and that's why he's the GOAT, and that's why I'm mad. And genuinely, that's what the album sounded like. I'm not even over exaggerating. That's genuinely, if you haven't listened, that's dead ass what the album sounds like. Like, it's literally that bad. Like, it's everything's just.
She's gonna come out and say Travis Kelce wrote it, and then she's gonna be like, that lyric was from Travis Kelce.
Memes and everything is just trolls. She literally says that. I'm not making that up. She dead ass says that part. The girl boss too close to the sun. Oh, just everything about it is so cringingly millennial, and this is coming from somebody who is a millennial.
She says everything is just trolling and memes in a song. I feel like there are a couple things that you're not supposed to do. Okay, if you're a director, you're not supposed to put iPhones in your movie. You're not supposed to put smartphones in your movie because I feel like it genuinely ruins like a form of communication, and that we have yet to figure out a way to like showcase the back and forth and like text message conversation and stuff like that in modern day. Like, it's just never good. Whenever someone tries to showcase text messages, it's like very difficult. Now, obviously, there are some who are able to do that well. Paul Thomas Anderson, but it's just still not like a very cinematic thing. Okay. This is a real issue, by the way. This is not even or not Paul Thomas Anderson. Sorry. I was thinking of Eddington, Ari Aster, but this is a real problem that directors have, which is why in most movies, if you notice, like in most modern movies, they like try to stay away from showcasing like phones in general. The reason why I say that is because it just doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. It just like brings you out of it brings you out of the world that they've built. A brief look at texting and internet and film. Anyway, that was 11 years ago. Okay, things have gotten even more aggressive, especially because like there is a ton of texting and a ton, like we use this shit all the time. Is always on us, right? And it would basically destroy. Like if you were to do it, if you were to use smartphones in movies as much as we use it in the real world, I feel like it would look strange. Like there would be a lot less interpersonal relationships and things of that nature. But basically, I would go so far as to say that utilizing the terms trolling and memes is in a similar vein. Okay? Like you should under no circumstance in any song ever say, if you are a serious recording artist, a musician, things like trolling and memes.
Every joke's just trolling and memes. Sad as it.
Oh my God. Oh Lordy. That's like it dates the song for no reason. I think it dates the song and it's no longer timeless. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you were to make a song about like being cyberbullied, you would probably, dog needs a better owner, Sag. Good luck. It's giving faillennial. Yeah. Well, even if you were to do a song about like cyberbullying or some shit, it would have to be about something else. Okay. It would have to be about like, it would have to be an analog to cyberbullying. Taylor uses the term kismet in one of her songs. Respect. Don't read my last comment. What is this? I need to be honest with you. I fully believe everything that is wrong with this album can be attributed to you. It is not your fault. If you never had to lose your foreskin, I think the butterfly effect from that could have drastically altered the world we live in currently, including the ass quality of this album. It's true. I did it. I'm the reason. I'm the reason why my own foreskin is gone, and so is yours. I think like a part of the anger that I think is perfectly just was the AI album release, but that I assume that wasn't. Yeah, there was definitely AI in part of the album release. Like there was AI art, but that I don't think was like deliberate. Like I don't think she was like, yeah, let's definitely use AI art. Like I don't think she like okayed it, if that makes sense. Because I feel as though I don't think Taylor Swift would do that deliberately. She probably hired a third party to do that. Did you help write this album from Taylor? Be honest, you're trying to fuck over the Swifties, aren't you? Yes. And then also, the other thing that people are frustrated about was the fact that she did like multiple releases or something. Like she's doing like, what is it called? Like she's doing like a ton of albums. Like she's doing 38, 36 releases. Like that's crazy. And that people have criticized her about that before. I think she's done that before, where she, like, people claim that she's doing that to, one, farm her audience, but also people have criticized her for, or people have speculated that she's doing that for staying on the top of charts. Isn't that what it is? Like to continue charting? It is what it is.
Classic that's going to be talked about as one of her finest pieces, you know, one of her top tracks or anything. But it wasn't nails on a chalkboard or anything. It didn't feel like it was just lazy throwaway garbage. Like, I didn't feel like I was listening to "You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack" or something. Like, it was just very simple. Not to throw shade at "You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack," of course, but the point is, it just felt like a really normal Taylor Swift album. It wasn't extraordinary, but I don't think it was nearly as bad as I'm hearing a lot of people say. The only track on here that actually did raise my eyebrow was "Wood," which is a song about Travis Kelce's wiener. It's about a little more than that, but that's kind of like the focus, is Travis Kelce's meat. Kind of lyrics that just make you go, ooh, instead of have you snapping your fingers. Forgive me, it sounds cocky, he amatized me. I actually had to look up what that was. It's apparently dickmatized instead of hypnotized, where you get so good that you get hypnotized, apparently. At least according to fan interpretations of that line. There's a lot of layers to this onion, of course. It's very deep songwriting. And opened my eyes, redwood tree, it ain't hard to see, his love was the key that opened my thighs. Girls, I don't need to catch the bouquet to know a hard rock is on the way. Oh. Like, when I heard that for the first time, it brought out the same feeling as the first time I heard Riley Reid freestyle rap. It was just, it was visceral. These lyrics really do feel like something I myself would write as a joke for one of our songs, The Gentlemen. And who knows, maybe Taylor Swift is a fan of The Gentlemen and was inspired by our songwriting styles. Because, like, I could see myself writing some shit like that for a goofy track. You know, penis appointment, you know I'm on time. He's dunking his balls like MJ in his prime. Like, it really does sound like something I would have cooked up for sillies. But, I don't know, the way, the rest of the song, it kind of plays it pretty straight, like pretty serious. And it's just, I don't know. That, out of all the songs on the album, that's the only one where I was like, oh. But anyway, enough about the album itself. I think it is just like a very normal, generic Taylor Swift album. Do I think it's anything special? No. Do I think it's anything abhorrent and as awful as everyone else seems to think it is? Also no. But I did see a banger tweet that a buddy of mine sent me that I guess kind of sums it up nicely. I said, Taylor Swift's new album sucks and I didn't even get a single death threat from a Swiftie. That's how bad it is. For those that don't know, since basically the beginning of Taylor Swift's career, anyone that speaks out saying like, I didn't really like that, they get dogpiled.
She literally stole her lyrics from a tweet. I mean, that's... Swifties, when Ariana sings about her sex and doesn't write it like he stuck his long wood in my redwood forest and let his sap ferment my... Oh my God. Redwood tree, it ain't hard to see his love was the key that opened my thighs. I just think that she's not very sexy. And it feels like a person... It feels like a person who doesn't like do a lot of like sexy stuff trying to do a sexy thing. Does that make sense? I don't mean like she's not hot or anything. I'm just saying that like she doesn't. How do I explain it? Oh, this stream's about to get you canceled, bro. No. I don't mean like she's not attractive. I mean like ooh, salacious, sultry, that sort of thing. You know? She's not your type, dude. No, you're misunderstanding me. I think Taylor Swift is beautiful. I think she's attractive. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I don't know. I don't really get like super sultry vibes from her, like seductive, sexy as a persona. Like she's not very raunchy. And then in this album, when she's being raunchy or trying to be raunchy, it comes across as like somewhat cringe almost, if that makes sense. Sabrina Carpenter is a good example of someone who's good at it. Yeah, but even Sabrina Carpenter has had her moments where like being sexy is tough. Okay, it's kind of like how you think about whenever people their sexts, there's text messages where they're sexting are outed, and it's like your body is tea, right? It's difficult to already be kind of sultry and salacious and sexy. And even Sabrina Carpenter sometimes will like have moments where it's like comes across as weird, odd. Like when she was talking about BBC, I Want That in Me. Like that's a strange, maybe somewhat racialized thing to say that I but in that moment, you had an off moment and you kind of said that, and it's odd. But like in other circumstances, she obviously is very, very sultry and salacious and tantalizing and sexy. Does that make sense? So even someone who is like swagged out and sensual in most circumstances can have a moment where maybe they didn't come across as sexy as she intended. And I do feel like a lot of the references that Taylor Swift makes to her husband's penis comes across that way. You're not a sexy guy in this way. Stop it. I'm not. I know that. I'm not. I'm not very sensual and sexy either. I don't
By
think.
Swifties with death threats, oftentimes racism. Like, the Swiftie online reputation has been pretty scary for a while, actually. And of course, it's not all Swifties, obviously, but it's enough to be kind of like a common thought, a stereotype for Swifties that has been around for a while. Where if you say you don't like something about Taylor Swift or her album...
No, you saying the Sabrina thing was whack is whack? It was because the BBC said she couldn't do the dirty outro. She made a joke about the BBC thing, wishing she added in her to not do the outro, bro. Yeah, but it was a double entendre. Like, what are you talking about? She quite literally follows that up, that lyric with... I mean, it was a double entendre. It was a play on words. It was a little bit cringe, but like the reason why I'm using her as an example is because she is objectively very good at doing that kind of like talking about being sexy and being hot and being desired. It's a part of her persona. It's a part of her. It's a part of her whole appeal and her shtick. You know what I mean? So the reason why I was mentioning that is because even someone who is very good at presenting herself that way can sometimes still come across as like, kind of cringe, and it happens. But Taylor Swift, on top of that, is not exactly known for doing that kind of sexy talk, if that makes sense.
Get ready for some of the most colorful insults you'll ever read and a lot of death threats. So now, with the actual album itself out of the way, let's talk about how she monetized it, how she tried to squeeze more money from all of her fans, because it is egregious. I think this is probably why there are so few people coming to her defense here, because this is kind of indefensible. This is an article from a site called Defector that kind of broke it all down and gave like their review of it and talking about the monetization here and how greedy it is. So, upon announcing the album, Swift put up a vinyl for pre-order on her site, and then another, and then another. Before the album was even released, she had promoted and sold on her site 8 exclusive vinyl variants in different colors with different names, and 8 CDs and 1 sweater which comes with a CD. The vinyls cost $34, the CDs cost $20, the sweater CD cost $70, and one of those was a Target exclusive edition. Don't forget Target. The marketing scheme for each of these releases, which came one after another, was scarcity. They will sell out, you will never have another opportunity, hurry, show your love and devotion. And unsurprisingly, it was a very successful business model. She's apparently sold 2.7 million copies of the album in physical and digital. When she announced it on the New Heights podcast, she promised this album wouldn't have any bonus tracks. Historically, Swift has sold her fans the album and then asked them to buy it again to access extra songs. The Life of a Showgirl, she promised, was fully complete, but then on Saturday night, another countdown appeared on her website, and at the end of it, she announced 4 additional CDs of the same album that fans could buy. These versions cost $8 a piece, and each includes 2 exclusive acoustic versions of songs on the album. That means that in addition to the songs on the album, Swift also recorded 8 acoustic versions, but you can only hear them if you purchase each of the 4 CDs. You have to collect this shit like pieces of Exodia here to get the whole experience. It goes on to say she didn't lie technically. There are no new songs on the CDs, just an opportunity for her to make even more money. So the songs aren't new, but they're a different recording of the same song, a different way. There's really no way of justifying that. The whole purpose is just to squeeze more money out of the audience because she knows they are going to lap it up 100%.
Please click this. Is a photo of everything one Swiftie bought. Oh yeah, I saw this. Free yourselves from the belief that being a true fan of the artist equals hyper consumerism. Yeah, this is nutty, dude. The amount of gear that you purchase to demonstrate fealty to thy lordship is kind of wild. Fought all the time to get the rights to all of her stuff just to be. Yeah, I mean, it's just. FYI, vinyl pressings cost about $10 to produce and CDs about $3. They cooked her in the comments because she got a hole in her sock. How do you see that she has a hole in her sock? No, she came out there even do this. At least you get photocard album CDs as a bundle. This was individually purchased. There's been a K-pop thing forever. Every time an album comes out, I have to buy it like 5 times. She's just doing her thing. Is that a Steam Deck? What is this? It does look like a Steam Deck. Someone made a chart during the Midnight's album era, which had like 5+ variants that showed that there was no singular album that contained all the songs from that era. The hole in the sock tweet. Girl, you need to buy a new pair of socks instead of a bunch of variants of the same album. Oh my God. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is, oh no. Oh no, no, no. That is unfortunate. That's crazy. That's why she can't afford new socks. She's buying all the Taylor Swift albums. At some point, you just have to say, don't buy it. Then if an artist puts out 15 copies of the same album and people keep buying it, it's kind of on them. Like with Skyrim re-releases. That is true. That is true. I think people in the gaming space know this better than anybody else, you know, still consistently buying the same exact thing over and over again. Hoping to relive the glory days. You know all that was thrown on Klarna? Oh, God. It is what it is. I will never stop buying Resident Evil 4.
And they are. Like, it is still making tons of money, even though it's not being received overly positive. Another thing they're putting her feet to the fire for is apparently using AI in this new album rollout. So, it's pretty clear that this is big time money making mode here. This isn't really about the artistry of her craft or anything. It does seem like the whole goal here is to try and squeeze as much out of this album as she possibly can. With so many like additions and shit. Even cutting corners on to use AI. Like, she has unfathomable wealth. There is just no excuse for not just hiring a real person, a real artist for that. The only reason she'd use AI is to save money, which is pretty crazy considering she's a billionaire. Like, how are you going to cheap out on this? It's so wacky to me. So it's hard to disagree with people expressing their sentiment that Taylor Swift is just selling out and is looking to just make as much money off this album as she can possibly squeeze without really caring about the art or the community that she's built. Just kind of throwing Swifties into the mud and just treating them like a useful piggy bank she can tap into whenever she wants for delivering very...
Jesus Christ, what kind of gambling debt does Travis have for all this being necessary? I don't think dude, what are you talking about? There's no amount of gambling debt that he could possibly have that she would need to sell. No, she's just doing this because she's just farming. I don't know. I feel like that part is just, people buy it, you know? He also is a multimillionaire, and she is a billionaire. I don't think that either of these people are you know, hard on their luck here, and they just have to like desperately make as much money as possible. That's why she I mean, she didn't become a billionaire by a sheer stroke of luck. She became a billionaire by doing stuff like this, I think.
Very little to them. Like I said, it's hard to disagree with that because why the f are there so many versions of this? Why are you using AI? Like, there are just so many things that are clearly just here because it's greedy. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised to see even the most loyal of Swifties calling it out, saying, like, this is unacceptable. This is really disappointing from Taylor. I thought she had reached this point where she was literally infallible in some people's eyes.
Nope. Turns out not the case. Okay. And we found that out today. Definitely not the case. I have to pee so bad. Here's another critical race theory on the album. I have to pee. Shit.
Is the kind of album that you release under an authoritarian regime. That's a comment someone left on my initial album reaction video, and let me tell you all the reasons why that's true. In our current political climate of a government shutdown, increased censorship in my own city of Chicago, military-style ICE raids where they're zip-tying children and arresting aldermen, some will argue that the life of a showgirl is a necessary reprieve. This is an album that celebrates joy, and the lyrics might not be that deep, and they might not say that much, but it allows us to have fun. I agree that her lyricism has drastically decreased in quality on this album, but she's saying a lot more than nothing. In fact, what she says is actually glaring, and she's saying that she's aligning herself with MAGA and the conservative right. She does this through misogyny, anti-blackness, and an explicit honesty about how she uses her power and exploits it for profit. I personally think Taylor Swift is tone deaf and petty, so when she's coming for Travis's ex-girlfriend saying that she was only with him for fame or money, something she's totally never done before, that she doesn't realize she's throwing the weight of her billionaire status and the entire music industry at a black woman. When she says she wants to have kids and have the whole block looking like you, she's not thinking about the fact that she's hinting that she wants to surround herself with whiteness. When she says, I'm not a bad bitch, I'm not a savage, she doesn't realize she comes off sounding like Lana Del Rey's Question for the Culture. She thinks she's just talking about the way people talk on the internet, but those lyrics are heavily associated with black female musicians. Me saying that is not letting Taylor Swift off the hook. Her music does not exist in a vacuum, and on some level, she had to know that a song celebrating people who are canceled would resonate with the right. For our supposed English teacher, Taylor Swift has said nothing about the state of reading in this country.
I mean, I will say she does not ever make bold declarative statements about the state of the world, you know? We go to Bad Bunny for that. Or Chapel Roan, for example. The one time that was like an iconic moment, the one time was when she literally did the whole like I can't be silent anymore, and she came out and you know said some takes. I mean she endorsed Kamala Harris, right? Like she's had a couple moments, but even like Swifties themselves have talked about how they also personally wish that she would say more or do more. You know, Chapel has a MAGA uncle in office. I mean, she's from that area, so that makes sense. But are we going to act like Chapel Roan is MAGA or something? Like, I don't entertain those kinds of silly takes. That's not her fault. How can she control her relatives that are older than her that have decided to be evil? Also, Taylor Swift is from that area as well, isn't she? I'm sure she also has MAGA relatives. I don't know. I just feel like, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like a lot of artists, given their class position, especially well-established artists, given their class position as like super wealthy people, are kind of falling out of step with the regular experiences that people are going through. And even, I mean, people were very critical of Beyonce in her last album as well. Even the Bayhive was like a little bit, you know, they had some criticisms as well. I mean, Jay-Z and Beyonce were like having dinner the other day with I believe Jared Kushner. Beehive, sorry, not Bayhive. I apologize. It's just like, I think people associate far too much with their favorite musicians. They identify their favorite musicians as like maybe saviors, if that makes sense. And I don't know. Like, if we're talking about like real issues that pertain to real issues that a lot of people are experiencing, like regular folk are experiencing, I think as the going gets tough, it will become more transparent. Like, it will make you realize that there is this major divide between someone like yourself and some of these like superstar celebrities. Yeah, as this chatter is correct, I think idolizing celebrities is always going to lead you down weird paths. As former Kanye West fans can tell you, with they've learned that lesson the hard way. Maybe as a person who doesn't listen to a lot of music, when I do hear it, I'm like, oh, I can go like this to it. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm bopping my head. And that's pretty much it. What happened with Kanye? Oh, what didn't happen? You're right, we should unsubscribe from our favorite streamer. He is far too rich. It's true. Thank you for the 10 months. Yeah. It's just so deeply tone deaf and out of touch with people. This is such a difficult time for so many economically, socially, etc. It just feels weird for her to be squeezing her fans for every dollar she can get out of them. I mean, it happens. You know, are you going to talk about Bill Burr? I did already with the Riyadh stuff. It was horrible. I'm never going to be the get your bag king type fan. I've never had like, I mean, I guess the closest I have to that is like LeBron James. And it would hurt my soul if I saw the king do something. But I wouldn't be like, no, that's, I'm sure there's a good reason for it or whatever. Anyway. Is he doing a kick deal soon? Who? Do you have the same kind of smoke for American comedians performing in Britain? I mean, the question is, do you have the same kind of smoke for American comedians performing in America? And obviously it's a little different. Like, I would say that Saudi Arabia is probably the line. Not that it fucking matters, because clearly that line no longer exists. Like, would you say that about someone performing in Israel? I don't think so, right? And obviously Saudi Arabia is not as bad as Israel. But that's it. That is what it is. Anyway.
The fact that politicians are bullying school leaders into censoring books according to ideological preferences. When Taylor got engaged, Trump literally wished her well and said that she's a fantastic person. 1 year ago, he was tweeting that I hate Taylor Swift. So in the end, forget Miss Americana. She's just another billionaire protecting her self-interest and aligning herself with the conservative right.
Hasan Reactions, one of the best ones in the React channel.